People of the world, welcome to Marketing as a Foreign Language. I'm your host, Kellen Kautzman. I happen to own Send It Rising Internet Marketing, which of course is so much fun. This is episode 121. Today on the show, we're talking about pretending to be a cop on your YouTube channel. Is it a good idea? It most certainly is not. We'll also be covering YouTube ads, non-monetized content ads. So basically, YouTube is saying we're going to add ads to stuff that's not even monetized, which is a bit ridiculous. Twitter rolls out stories. They're calling them fleets, but they're basically copying everyone else. Facebook moderators are upset to be in the office because they're being forced to go there, which is uncool. And top takeaways from the recent Senate hearing. Again, more Dorsey, more Zuckerberg, more testifying in front of Congress. And if you live in Illinois, Facebook might owe you $400. Did you know that? And did you know why? Well, you'll find out in 5, 4, 3. Yeah, okay. So according to Deseret.com, South Jordan is a little city in Utah. Have you heard of it? Apparently an 18-year-old man was booked into the Salt Lake County Jail for impersonating an officer and reckless driving. Smart stuff. On Monday, South Jordan police were called to the area of the Transjordan landfill. You know, swinging by the landfill, Bacchus Highway, on a report of reckless driving, according to a police affidavit. Quote, the complainant said he saw the suspect drive using red and blue lights impersonating a police officer and having vehicles pull off to the side of the road. That, my friends, is dumb. I do not recommend doing it. The complainant said the suspect had vehicles pull off to the side of the road and driving very fast onto oncoming traffic. Okay. So police looked up the vehicle's registration and went to the man's home. When the man pulled into his driveway, he was questioned. Inside his car, police found 2 airsoft guns. That's smart. One resembling a handgun and the other an AR-15. The affidavit states red and blue lights were also found, and a police scanner was playing on the man's phone. Yeah, okay. Quote, I asked him what he was doing, and he said he was filming a video inside his Dodge Dart, acting as a police officer for YouTube, the affidavit states. He said he was driving over the speed limit and forcing vehicles off the road. He said he was doing these things. So, I don't know. You've got average intelligence, and everyone thinks they're above average, but sometimes you find folks who are not above average. What are you doing? Now, I understand the allure to have popular YouTube videos. I get it. You want people to love you. You might even base your self-worth on how many views you're getting on YouTube. But to impersonate a cop with the lights and guns, you're just asking. You're just asking for it, dude. You are asking to get shot. I am happy that this did not result in violence, but this was very stupid of this particular individual. But you got to wonder, if you're 18, which, you know, means you don't have a ton of experience with the whole living thing, and you're making decisions like this, how many other 18-year-olds are thinking of crazy things to do on the internet to get you likes? How much of their self-esteem is wrapped up into this? Do you see what I'm saying? Now, this obviously is an extreme example, but you've got to wonder if the entire attention economy is basically a massive incentive machine for kids to do increasingly weirder stuff. Here's a good example. Bill Maher's of the world. He's on HBO. You probably heard of him. He had a show called Politically Incorrect. Now it's real time. He says really outlandish things, stuff that normal people wouldn't say. Comedians are the same way. They'll say really embarrassing things about themselves because they're trying to get paid, obviously. Now, there's obviously truth to that, and there's the whole art form. I get it. But for most reserved people, they would never say these things, let alone in public. And so there's this incentive to go out there and to be insane. People love seeing insanity. We're attracted to it. And so it's kind of sad that our economy has taken this shift towards praising insanity in the way that it has. We tend to elevate people that are willing to take these risks because we like watching them. It's Schadenfreude, emotional and psychological Schadenfreude. And I'm guilty of it too. If I'm on Reddit and there's some sort of public freak out, someone not wearing a mask in Costco, I'm watching it. Watched one this morning. So it's not like I'm off on my, on my pedestal looking down at the proletariat thinking, yes, I totally am extricated or removed from that process. No, I indulge in that sort of content as well, which is why I know it's a problem. So it's just kind of sad to see someone impersonating a cop. I'm obviously happy that it didn't result in violence. It so easily could have. Can you imagine if there's this Dodge Dart on the side of the road and cop comes up and realizes it's not an actual police officer and he's like pulling people over and he appears to have an AR-15 in his car? Come on. So stupid. So incredibly stupid. Yikes. Moving right along, socialmediatoday.com article, YouTube adds to non-monetized content. This could cause some annoyance for YouTube creators, according to socialmediatoday.com. This week, YouTube has announced an update to its terms of service, which most notably includes a new provision that will enable YouTube to insert ads into content that's not part of the YouTube Partner Program. So YouTube does not have enough money, apparently. Apparently, there is no place where we will get to go that will not have ads. One of the things that scares me about the augmented reality revolution, when we do all get the lenses on our face that allow us to see far off in the distance, allow us to change the color of the world around us, literally allow us to see stats about people as we look at them, allow us to see Google Maps literally overlaid on the road. This augmented reality that is coming, one of the things that scares me is that there will be absolutely no escape from ads. Or maybe the rich will be the only ones that will be able to escape the ads. So right here, YouTube adding ads to non-monetized content is just one more step in that direction. I mean, already when you're on the 15 or you're on a highway, you're going to see billboards everywhere. We've kind of become numb to it, but that ain't nothing compared to what folks are going to want to do when you're wearing the Google lenses on your face. That's going to be a whole new level of ads. And the ads are going to be specific to, it's like 11:30 and you're going to be seeing Chipotle ads. They know it's lunchtime. They know you're hungry. They're going to know your proximity to the restaurant. And, there might even be biometric, like if you're wearing a Fitbit, if it can measure like your pulse, there's going to be just levels of data going into these ad decisions that will boggle your mind. They're probably going to be looking at what your eyes are doing, like if your eyes are moving in a certain way, they'll get a sense of like your current attitude. And I know it sounds outrageous right now, but we're definitely going in this direction for sure. I think the current situation of all of us having computers in our pockets seemed outrageous 20 years ago. But obviously not. Back to the article. In other words, if you choose not to put ads in your YouTube video, YouTube's probably going to do it anyway. Well, there you have it. But you won't gain any subsequent revenue from those ads unless you sign up to YPP, YouTube Partner Program. Explained by Google, quote, starting today, we'll begin slowly rolling out ads on a limited number of videos from channels not in the YouTube Partner Program. This means as a creator that's not in the YouTube Partner Program, you may see ads on some of your videos. Excuse me. Since you're not currently in YPP, you won't receive a share of the revenue from these ads, though you'll still have the opportunity to apply for YPP as you normally would. This is all just a funny way of saying there's going to be more ads on your stuff. Many creators over the years, according to the article, have opted not to put ads into their YouTube clips. Back in 2017, reports suggested that Australian musician Gautier had turned down over $10 million in revenue on his YouTube channel because he refused to insert ads into his clips. You no longer have that opportunity. Now, as we saw with the out-migration of folks on Facebook and Twitter to Parler, people that are conservative that no longer feel that Facebook and Twitter serves their best interest, moving to Parler, I could see an exodus of people that feel that YouTube no longer serves their interests, insofar as if I want to produce content and not put an ad on it, I should be able to do that. I could see people voicing that particular concern. In YouTube's defense, I will say that the server and infrastructure environment necessary to actually house that much video is not free. When's the last time you downloaded 42,000 videos to your computer? I mean, it causes the computer to shut down. It gets filled up. It's not easy to manage that much data. So they do that essentially for free, in quotes. If you only uploaded videos to YouTube, you're basically getting a free service. If you never watched any or never actually used the service, they're just housing your videos for free, which is pretty incredible. They obviously pay for this from ad revenue, and no one is playing the smallest, saddest violin for YouTube, as they are clearly making quite a lot of money. But it does appear to me that this sort of tidal wave of more ads ain't going nowhere. Twitter rolls out stories called Fleets. It's funny to me how all of these social media platforms now have disappearing posts, and they all have stories now. And just the difference between them at this point seems largely cultural. Thank you to whoever just hit the like button. Yeah, it's cultural, which is to say that they all have stories. They all have the ability to post. They all have the ability to share images and GIFs and video. They're all kind of the same thing. I mean, with rare exceptions. Like, what really is the difference between TikTok and Snapchat and Facebook? It's the people that choose to hop on the platform. That's the big difference. I'm not at all surprised that didn't Twitter expand the amount of characters they could have? So even the things that once defined them change. So really we're talking about little cultures, just the different number of little cultures across all these different social media platforms. That's the main differentiator. It's not really the algorithms. It's not really the technology, as we saw with Parler and all the conservatives jumping over there. It's just what's the echo chamber you choose to be in. What's the bubble you choose to be in. Speaking about bubbles on YouTube, if you just look up puppies, we talked about this in a previous episode, you'll just be shown puppies. So it's not like YouTube is going to start showing you left or right leaning media based on the fact that you're searching for puppies. It's going to show you more puppies. So the algorithms are based on showing you more of what you want, more of what you like. But to the article, socialmediatoday.com, after announcing the expansion of its stories like Fleets option to users in Japan just last week, Twitter has quickly followed up with a full rollout of the function iOS and Android for everybody. So now you can create stories on Twitter with a dedicated tray of stories. Oh, a tray. Fleets bubbles along the top of your news feeds where users can share updates that disappear after 24 hours within the app. So more disappearing content. If you're big on Twitter, you might want to go check out some of these stories just to see what people are doing. You may want to create some stories of your own. If you're a marketer, you may want to consider adding this to your repertoire. Am I a big fan of stories? Not really. I don't really see the point, but for a lot of folks, they like that feature. I think it gives them the sense that it's going to go away and it's not permanent, but I mean, we all know that anyone could easily record the story or take a snapshot of it, so that's largely ridiculous. CNBC.com, Facebook moderators upset to be in the office. First of all, I would not want to be a Facebook moderator. That seems like a terrible job. Second of all, anyone in an office in 2020 to me, I shouldn't say anyone, let me qualify that. If you're like a desk worker, I don't understand it. Google CEO, Facebook CEOs, I should say Zuckerberg in particular, they were patting themselves on the back for having like half their workforce remote. My entire workforce has been remote for 4 years. And if it were up to me, the previous company I would have been at, we would have been remote there too. So it's not this sort of slow clap. I'm so proud of you to these people that are kind of going remote now. Ridiculous. Everyone should be remote. It reduces the number of car accidents and deaths due to car accidents. It reduces global greenhouse emissions. It reduces stress. Driving is one of the most stressful things in life. It's so obnoxious. People are terrible drivers. Sorry, people of the world. I too am sometimes a terrible driver. So it's not just you, but I'm just saying. Have you driven lately? Anyway, more than 200 Facebook content moderators have urged Zuckerberg to let them work from home during the pandemic. This according to CNBC.com. Facebook outsources much of its moderating to companies like Accenture and CPL. So let's not be of the mind that Facebook is this sort of megalith that everyone goes to one central office in California. No, they're way too big. They're outsourcing a lot. At Send It Rising, we outsource certain things. It's very normal for companies to do this kind of stuff. The Guardian reported last month that Facebook moderators at CPL, one of the places Facebook outsources, were being forced to work in a Dublin office despite a high-tier lockdown while Facebook's own employees worked from home. So, I mean, if you're Facebook and you're outsourcing work to this Ireland base, this Irish company, and they're having their workers come in, I mean, there is a degree of separation there that has to be understood. More than 200 Facebook content moderators, according to the article, from across the US and Europe have written an open letter to Zuckerberg and urged him to let them work from home, which is a bit weird because, again, Facebook doesn't own CPL. So all Facebook could do is contact the people at CPL and say, hey, can you please find a way to figure this out? And there are probably technological issues here too, where like the moderation software or the computers that are necessary to do the particular work or the security of the internet in the certain location has to be up to a certain standard. It's not so easy just to say, yeah, it's fine, just let them work from home. To the article, quote, we, the undersigned Facebook content moderators and Facebook employees, write to express our dismay at your decision to risk our lives and the lives of our colleagues and loved ones to maintain Facebook's profits during the pandemic. So does Facebook have the power to have the CPL employees work from home? Well, they certainly have leverage. Back to the article, quote, after months of allowing content moderators to work from home, faced with intense pressure to keep Facebook free of hate and disinformation, you have forced us back into the office. So I saw an interesting video the other day of an African woman talking about how Tom's shoes, you may have heard of them, they're you buy a pair of shoes from us and we donate a pair largely to Africa. She's like, the people at Tom's, they mean well, and obviously people getting free shoes, that's good for them. But there are unintended consequences, which is there were generations of shoemakers in Africa. Try competing with free. So if you're a shoemaker in Africa and all of a sudden Tom's is sending millions and millions of shoes, you just go, okay, well, I guess I'm out of business. And the people I employed are out of business. You know, we can't compete with free. It's impossible. So you could make the argument that, yes, it's great for the people getting free shoes, and it is. There's no question about it. But to completely forget about that small business owner and the employees of those shoe places is just missing the point. And so here we've got Facebook trying to do what they're supposed to, which is getting Facebook free of hate and disinformation. Good luck on that. But here's the unintended consequence coming in. Back to the article, a Facebook spokesperson told CNBC that the company appreciates the work its content reviewers do and it prioritizes their health and safety, blah, blah, blah. So you get the idea. Top takeaways from recent Senate hearing. Okay, so Dorsey and Zuckerberg were doing what they do. What do we have here? Esther Sass with a comment. Isn't there a difference between the people who can pay for a pair and those who are barefoot? That's true. I think that the quality of shoes that Tom's is creating is really high. And so I think if you're saying giving shoes to people that couldn't possibly afford shoes, then yeah. But that's probably not what's happening. I would imagine if that millions of shoes are being sent to Africa, that some people that would be buying shoes are no longer buying shoes. You know what I mean? And if you can get your hands on like 5 or 6 pair of shoes and resell them, you would do that too. I don't know what Tom's supply chain looks like exactly, but there are probably shoes going to folks that probably don't need them. But by and large, I would say it's a good thing. But again, I'm just talking about unintended consequences. I'm still in favor of Tom's sending shoes to Africa. I still think that it's wise for them to do so. But I think we got to look at the full picture as well and understand that it does impact some local businesses. So this one from foxnews.com. So you got to take it from the conservative slant. Understand that that is the angle. So America paid attention on Tuesday as Twitter CEO and Jack Dorsey again appeared before the Senate Judiciary Committee for a hearing on breaking the news, censorship, suppression, and the 2020 election. In a full committee hearing long awaited by both Republicans and Democrats, the two tech leaders were challenged to explain their policies, etc. So here are the takeaways, according to Fox News. Number one, social media giants wield great electoral power I would have to agree with that. I think that if Facebook and Twitter did nothing, if they didn't try to get out the vote, if they didn't, if they did something, if they tweaked their algorithms in a way that like suppressed posts that were left leaning and drove posts that were right leaning, like the engine itself has bias in it. I'm reminded of algorithms that where you would have a white face and a black face, and the algorithm would attribute more positive attributes to the white face, for example, and it was just based on what's on the internet. So there definitely can be bias within algorithms, and right here, I would argue that that Facebook and Twitter wield some pretty impressive power when it comes to elections. According to the article, Twitter has gone from being a novel curiosity to what it is today: 330 million monthly active users, 145 million daily active users. CEO Dorsey testified remotely. So we get into the Hunter Biden story. We all know all about that censorship. So yeah, we get that. Number 2, content moderation rules are flawed. According to the article, both Twitter and Facebook launched policies to help them protect the integrity of the election. Twitter's civic integrity policy allowed it to label and remove false and misleading information. By and large, I think that the labels are a good thing. I think Trump at one point said that he had won the election, which, he didn't. I understand that people are going back and forth on the various court cases. I understand that there's a back and forth happening right now, but it's clear that he didn't win. And I think it's well within Twitter's rights to be able to label things as misinformation if, according to what they see at the time, it is misinformation. Now, as I said before, it will create conservative Twitter, right? That is what happens when people feel like the truth is not actually getting out there. So to the article, along with content that would intimidate or dissuade people, some misinformation, all that stuff, so confusion, we get it. Twitter labeled over 300,000 tweets under this policy. That's a lot. 456 of these tweets containing a warning message. In their quest to tackle misinformation and voter suppression, Facebook partnered with election officials to remove false claims and displayed warnings on over 150 million pieces of content. So they are not staying neutral. It's not like Facebook and Twitter are just saying free speech, do what you want. No, they're actively involved at this point. And I think Congress, our government, has put a lot of pressure on them to do that. So number 3, influence extends beyond elections into our lives. So these policies and practices reveal that we have all come to know, but are slow to admit, for better or worse, social media exerts an outsized and arguably dangerous influence over American society in ways previously unimaginable. This is according to the article. Facebook Inc. is much more than a social network. With WhatsApp, Instagram Messenger, and the Facebook social media platform, the company owns 4 of the world's largest social media messaging services. Facebook and WhatsApp alone are used by a combined 4.5 billion people per month, which is ridiculous. So they've got huge influence. Social media giants are hurting local media. This I would have to agree with entirely. I feel like national news still has a place. A lot of folks are looking to national news. National news has a good Twitter and Facebook spread. They can get their stories out there. But their ability to monetize has been absolutely decimated. It is very hard for them to sell ad revenue, to sell ads to make, to earn revenue. And so social media is beating them up. Now, what they're being replaced with is a bunch of opinion. So I'm not saying that local news has always been unbiased and this perfect source of objective journalism. What I'm saying is local news is kind of being replaced by that guy has a cell phone over there and that girl has a blog, and they're weighing in. Everybody's a journalist, right? So we went from national and local news to individual news, right? Here I am. This is basically a news show where I'm taking from some of these articles. I'm letting you know my thoughts on it. It's just one more news show that's out there. And so it's really grown exponentially, and the losers are local news. Okay. Sorry, a little pop-up on the computer there. So Section 230 needs to be reformed. We've been talking a little bit about Section 230. Basic takeaway here is: do Twitter and Facebook have the right to allow any comment on their website and not be sued? There's a lot of gray area here. According to the article, both Facebook and Twitter CEOs have acknowledged the need for a reform of Section 230. Simply put, the code states that no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. And, quote, no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be held liable on account of any action voluntarily taken in good faith to restrict access to or availability of material that the provider or user considers to be obscene, lewd, filthy, excessively violent, harassing, etc. So basically, you can't sue Facebook. You can't sue Twitter for the ridiculous thing that the user posts. Will this evolve over time? Obviously. We've been following this for quite a while. No new news on that front. Self-regulation is necessary but not sufficient, according to the article. Dorsey and Zuckerberg similarly agree with the sentiments of Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham and ranking Democrat Richard Blumenthal that government should not be in the business of regulating content. That's pretty interesting, that you got bipartisan support on this idea that the government should not be in the business of regulating content. Graham, in fact, is pushing the industry to promote its own best business practices and perhaps implement a self-regulatory mechanism. Again, I really do think that the market is going to decide where people spend their time. I really don't think the government should be spending a lot of time determining whether or not Twitter should be censoring a post. I think Twitter is getting the right amount of heat for what it's doing, and they're losing the right amount of viewers. I don't think everyone should be on Twitter. The problem, of course, is that with a Parler, now you really have a strong echo chamber. With Twitter, it becomes more of an echo chamber, and getting people outside of those echo chambers is tricky. So there you have it. Top takeaways from the Senate hearing. Last article of the day. If you live in Illinois, Facebook owes you $400. Oh my gosh. ChicagoTribune.com. Illinois Facebook users have until Monday to claim their share of a $650 million class action settlement over alleged violations of the state's biometric privacy law. Nearly 1.4 million people filed a claim as of Wednesday, so the expected payout's about $400. The allegation is that the social media giant's use of facial tagging features without consent was against Illinois privacy law. So if you know anyone in Illinois, they may be entitled to $400, and why not? So this episode 121, in summary, don't pretend to be a cop on YouTube. It's a terrible idea. I'm happy that no one got shot in this ridiculous escapade. Just goes to show that 18-year-olds don't always make the best decisions. YouTube adds ads to non-monetized content. Ain't nobody going to stop the flow of ads. Just not going to happen. Thank you, Esther, for tuning in and chatting and leaving comments. Appreciate it. Twitter rolls out stories called fleets. So all the social media platforms are doing the same stuff. Facebook moderators upset to be in the office, and they probably should be. I don't see why they shouldn't be able to work from home. I know it's going to be a big problem, and I understand that Facebook's trying to stop hate speech on the platform and misinformation, but do they really need to be in the office? I would argue no, they do not. Top takeaways from recent Senate hearing. We chatted about that at length, and Illinois $400. So we are a live show, as you can probably tell, and we would love for you to join us 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time every single day. Just type in marketing as a foreign language into YouTube and you'll find us. Leave a comment. It helps with the algorithm. Sure does. You can give us a call if you're interested in any internet marketing stuff. Obviously, I own Send It Rising. We do internet marketing for over 45 clients nationwide. I wrote a book called Everybody's Doing It, Advertising Redefined, and I've given speeches all over this great nation of ours. You can give us a ring, 702-263-0141. And if you're in your car or will be in your car and want to listen to the show, our podcast is available on Spotify, iTunes, and many, many more options. Again, thanks so much for swinging on by. We'll see you tomorrow for Friday's episode. Class dismissed.